How's it going, everyone? Sessiion here. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail Story, Chapter 1, Part 2. Let us continue. Traders of Happiness. Not my finest moment, I'll admit. But now that we're here, let's do what we came to do. Find the Elector. Allow me to propose a strategy then. Trial, Alize, and I will speak with the merchants. Will Clement, you, and Erenvel might try approaching travelers and passerbys. Adele, pray investigate any of these other establishments which catch your eye. Should we learn aught of use, let us relay it to the third promise. Alright. The Dawn Servant Elector? Ah, I thought you were a new face in town. Here for the bride succession, I take it? Me? I don't care much. I don't much care who sits the throne so long as they keep Tural peaceful. People tend not to be in the mood to relax and sip our excellent mezcal once arrows and spears start flying, if you know what I mean. Speaking of which, would you like a cup? A joy shared is a joy doubled, I say. Oh right, yes. You were asking about that Elector business. Being but freshly returned from my trading route, I've heard that there's a contest afoot, but not much else. Our head ledger Tobley could probably tell you more about it. Electors? Oh yes, I've heard all about the right session. They're looking to put a new ruler on the throne, eh? Personally, I'm rooting for Zeralja. If the first promise wins, he'll look to expand our sphere of influence. That means access to more resources and more customers, in the thousands column, potentially. So many new trading opportunities to spread happiness far and wide. Others have been coming around my way of thinking, so I've begun crafting goods inspired by the Brazilian sun. Would you care to purchase something? No. No, I would not. Very well. You said you wanted to know about the Elector? I could help you, but I won't. I can tell you're no supporter of Zeralja or his policies. Wow. Okay then. Alright, well. Ooh. Welcome. If it's in pocket you need, then look no further. Before we get settled up, I'll need to add your name to the register. Thank you. Alright. I'll get a gem switcher later. Hello there, I'm Mablu. Did you have a question for me? Sorry, I don't know about any electors. You should take a moment to see our prized alpacas before you leave, though. Oh, but be sure to admire them for a respectable distance. Get too close and our nervous darlings might be tempted to spit on you, and that stuff stinks. It happened to a visiting buyer not so long ago. Tobley, that's the head rancher, was so mad at me for not giving a proper warning. No one makes a mistake without Tobley noticing. He knows everything that happens on this ranch. Well, he's somewhere nearby. We know that much. You really have to watch yourself around these silver-tongued peddlers. I almost bought a bottle of mezcal and a stack of blankets, and then there was this enchanting ornament. Anyway, I did manage to learn about this Tobley is a man to talk to about the contest. Now, if only they'd share where this head ledger of theirs is to be found. Really? He's also the head rancher? Well, the alpaca ranch is not far from here. I say we pay it a visit before the others return. I agree. Wasn't it just snowing? Aw, cute. That's a lot of alpacas. Still, we know the head ledger could be here somewhere. I can't let fear deter me. Not to say that I'm scared, of course. Excuse me, is one of these workers Tobly? Tobly? Oh yes. He likes to mingle with the ranch heads and keep an eye on things. I can't tell you which one he is though. You can't? Is this part of the contest? All I can say is that Tobly often mentions his favorite pungent subject. He also can't resist a profitable trade. Though, who among us could, am I right? Still, if you bring him a very good deal, he might let his identity slip. Heh, so it's like a game. Easy enough. All I have to do is offer Tobly a deal he can't ignore. No problem at all. Well, maybe one problem. I don't think my purse is deep enough to pay everyone we think might be Tobly. Let's ask some questions first to narrow down the field. Great. We can meet back here to share our impressions. Well, obviously I'm not Tobly. I mean, oops, I shouldn't have said that. You're meant to find out for yourself who Tobly is, or if an elector is even in the village at all. Good luck. Ah, a visitor from across the salt, if I'm not mistaken. Be warned, the alpaca will spit if you startle them. I suggest you keep your movements slow and deliberate. Okay. I'll sniff out the head ledger in a heartbeat, you'll see. Am I Tobly? Yes. Yes, that's me. Excellent work from the third promise and her entourage. Sharp instincts. Shall we commence the rite of succession then? You might think I might be Tobly? Well, maybe I am. All I will say is that, in this village, none have reared more alpacas than I. I see we're both done with our interrogations. So, who do you think it is? I have my suspicions, but let's hear your pick. I'm gonna go with the boastful. The boastful ranchhead. That loud, boastful fellow? I suppose he could be Tobly. Only way to find out. Nothing would make me happier than knowing your identity. So how about we make a deal and you tell me the truth? I have money. Then I agree to your trade. Done and done. As for my part of the bargain, I am not Tobly, not the head ledger, and not the head rancher. Just a humble ranch hand. You're not him? Damn it, I trusted you. That coin could have bought me 300 gourmet tacos. No, I can't let this taco tragedy distract me from what matters most. We need to determine which one is Tobly. That's a good guess. The nonchalant ranch hand. Let's try that guy. He seemed unconvincing to me, but if that's your choice, then that's who we'll talk to. Totally, I offer you a deal. The truth of who you are in exchange for a tidy sum. What do you say? I say hand over the coin. The truth is, I'm not even a ranch hand. I just have to come by and watch the alpacas. What? You don't even work here? I knew I should have gone with my gut on this one. But now's not the time to mourn wasted coin. We need to regroup and rethink this. It's the diligent guy? Alright. Great investigation. It's the diligent rant hand, I'm certain. Ah, the workers so intent on stable chores. I had my eye on that one too. Time to rip the mask off of our mystery ranch hand, so to speak. We know it's you, Toby, and to prove it, I propose a deal. A generous sum of coin for confirmation of your true identity. An offer I'd gladly accept. As you have correctly guessed, I am indeed Toby, head ledger of the Wanchimpello and head rancher of the family ranch. I am also one of Gulu Jaja's chosen electors. Aha! In a place featured in the Tural Saga, just as we thought. Though, it took more coin than I would have liked to know for certain. I know. She found you out fair and square, Toby. And I'm glad she did. Would have been a pity had her bid ended here.
Deducing the Dawnservant's elector was the first step of the feat. Too simple a task for this aspiring ruler, eh?
Right. Not hard at all. Zorolja.
I am told the head ledger, Tobli, is to be found here.
You have to guess which one of us is Tobli. That's part of the test.
You're Tobli.
Without even asking a single question. Very impressive indeed. With that amusing prologue out of the way, we can proceed to the actual challenge. Per the Dawnservant's instructions, I was free to devise any manner of feat. I considered a number of possibilities in the 10th column. But I think I have a good one. You must go forth and capture for me an alpaca.
While I've not had the best experiences with alpacas, aren't they generally docile creatures? That doesn't sound like much of a challenge.
Bring out the example!
Cute.
This is a special kind of alpaca. Would you please approach the animal, Third Promise?
Who? Me? Well, it should stay calm if I stay calm, right? That's what Erinville said. Ah! nasty little monster spat on me! Oh, that stinks. I can't.
Alpacas are paradoxical creatures, being both extremely curious and extremely cowardly. Press your luck when they're frightened, and you'll get a face full of spit, as you've all just witnessed. Has an awful stench, their expectoration. The globs contain half-digested food, you see, making it an effective deterrent against perceived threats.
Wild valley breed like this one are especially timid and can therefore be quick to lash out. They're also especially hardy.
Indeed. We take the rugged wild alpacas and breed them with our gentle domesticated stock. This produces the strong but biddable pack animals prized by our traveling merchants.
That's all well and good, but did I need to bathe an alpaca spit for you to make your point?
So, the task is to catch a wild alpaca.
That is correct. But be warned that it is a feat easier said than done. I suggest you prepare well before you enter the valley where the creatures dwell. And by you, I mean the claimants only. Allies are not permitted to assist with the catching. The alpacas will help me judge which of you is worthy of receiving a keystone.
So I'm to chase down a fluffy, spitting demon, and that somehow proves I'm fit to rule?
As I said, the Dawn Servant granted me the freedom to decide my challenge. And when you reach the end of the ride, I dare say you will understand why I chose what I chose.
Very well. This won't take long.
Wait! Didn't I warn you this was easier said than done? There are preparations to be made, factors to consider.
A beast is a beast. All yield to strength.
So far, this experience has done absolutely nothing to improve my opinion of alpacas. But that doesn't mean I can't do this. Revolting spit aside, they're just another animal.
Are you all right, Orclamart? We thought we heard you scream.
The third promise does not scream. It was more of a startled yelp.
Scream, in other words.
Did you find the Elector?
Oh, we certainly did.
I had to go and wash that nasty stuff off my face. I think I got all of it. But would you mind taking a sniff from me, just to make sure? The stench has ruined my sense of smell. Hey, I saw that look. The Feet of Gold. Aaronville wishes to discuss it. As Wicklemut helped demonstrate, the Valley Alpaca are wary of people. Getting close enough to catch one would not be an easy task. You might have just warned me about that earlier. I have enough trouble with tame alpacas. How do you expect me to wrangle a wild one? With the proper saddle, we infuse the leather with a relaxing scent that soothes the spitting beast. Wonderful. Give me one of those then. Have you perhaps forgotten we are a clan of merchants? If you want a taming saddle, then you'll need to find a saddler and make them an offer. They don't come cheap, of course. Crafting a saddle will cost you the equivalent of 10 pel in the thousands column. You mean 10,000 pel? I don't have that kind of coin. Converting to gil, that comes around 1,000,000 or so. Mayhap if we all pitch in. No. This is my feat to accomplish. I wouldn't feel right about having others pay the cost. I'll find the money. Somehow. In that case... that basket of wool is worth the sum you paid me earlier. 1 pel, in the hundreds column. Beginning with the wool, you can trade for ever more valuable goods until you have something suitable to bargain with for the saddle. That's a nice gesture, but you think I can turn 100 pel into 1,000,000? That's 10,000 times more. We need 10,000 pel, not 1,000,000, so we're looking at 100 times more. Oh, right. I panicked and got it confused with Alpha No's 1,000,000 gil. I'm not so sure about this trading idea. You almost talked into buying a cloak you didn't need mere moments after you arrived. But I hate it when you're right. Then let me help you with your deal making. Oh, hello again. Mablu. I work here as a ranch hand, but I've also learned a lot about the peddler profession. It's alright if I aid them now, yes? I guided the claimants towards the first step of the feat, like you asked. As long as Wiklamat goes alone to capture her alpaca, she is free to accept assistance from whomever she likes. Hooray! Let's see about getting you that saddle then, Third Promise. I don't know why you made your offer, but I could use an ally with a beak for bargains. Welcome aboard, Mablu. Should the rest of us stay behind, perhaps? It may be easier to haggle over prices without so many voices chiming in. Yes, stay here and pitch in with the ranch work. With Mablu gone, I'll need extra hands to tend to the alpacas. Gladly, although Adele, I think you should go with Wiklamat. You've seen markets and bazaars the world over, and surely have sage advice to share. In that case, you should also hold on to the alpaca wool. If it's misplaced or soiled in some way, you'll have nothing to bargain with. As if I'd do such a thing, but I'll leave the wool with Adele anyway. The better to keep my hands free. To begin, I suggest we try trading the wool to Havli, the saddler. He won't agree to the deal, of course, but it'll give us an idea of how much he'll accept for his wares. We'll find out. Something I can do for you? We've come to bargain. I need one of your special taming saddles to catch a wild alpaca. A saddle, is it? And how will you be paying for it? with this basket of fine alpaca wool. What use does a saddle maker have for wool? Besides, this would barely cover the cost of a single strap buckle. Offer me something I actually want. And what might that be? Mezcal. I like to nurse a cup at day's end while I inspect my finished work. Bring me a jug of quality stuff and you got yourself a deal. This bodes well for us, I promise. Such mezcal can be had for only 5 pel in the thousands column. Hold on. Did you say third promise? Then my offer has changed. The saddle's gonna cost you a jug of premium mezcal, aged 3 years at least. 3 years? That stuff is valued at 10,000 pel or more. Why have you doubled the price? Because I must support the man of ambition who will see my business prosper. Zoraja will go to war, and his cavalry will need saddles. Lots of saddles. It's nothing personal, third promise, but I won't sell you my craft for anything less than my asking price. Can't say that I blame him. I'm known for championing peace, and peace is unlikely to bring him more customers. Those of our grandparents' generation remember the dark days when the clans were at war. Many of these probably pray for your victory, Wiklamat. The younger ones, though, to them, strife and bloodshed are as children's stories. They think themselves safe from these horrors and take the peace we now enjoy for granted. Still, others are unsatisfied with this quiet prosperity and crave the future the second promise envisions. They become obsessed with innovations like the dirigibles that have made trade swift and easy. Then you have those like Havli convinced that the first promise's plans for conquest will afford them opportunities for great profit. But what about you, Mablu? Aren't you of the younger generation? At least a year or two younger than me, I'd say. Huh. I was raised on the old tales. I memorized the accounts of what it was like when the Yakoi ruled our village. That's why I offer to help. I want you to become Dawn Servant, to keep our nation from going back to the way it was. Well then, I guess I better make sure I win the contest. But the type of mezcal the saddle maker wants is so very expensive. Weren't we expecting to need 10,000 pel from the outset? Nothing's changed. We just need to get on with it. I may not have had a head for trade or the stomach for alpacas, but I won't give up with the priests of Toliola on the line. Then neither will I. We will make you Dawn Servant. Aiming for the 10,000 pel jug right away will only bring us failure and frustration. So let's try exchanging the wool for anything even a touch more valuable. The trick is to find someone who needs alpaca wool and is willing to trade at a loss to acquire it. Someone who supports your bid for the throne, for instance. Of course, the Weaver, not... Bulnak was his name, I believe. He went out a bit to say that he agreed with my vision and he was here to buy wool. I think I remember the direction he was going, but for now, let's head back to that road when we first met him. Is this where you met the Weaver? This is the spot. After Bolnak talked to us, he walked off to the south. Then he's probably going to Igluvos Inn. Most visitors to Huachipelu end up staying there. Let's go and check, shall we? Can I have that basket though? Thanks. Now let's see if we can turn a profit. Bolnak, I'm glad we found you. Are you interested in making a trade? Third promise. You wish to do business with me? Might I ask what this is all about? I see. So the goal is to turn that basket of wool into a jug of 3-year-old premium mezcal. And allow me to invest in your efforts. Peace in Tural is what allows me to cross freely into the lands of my suppliers. Naturally, I would prefer that one pledge to preserve that peace with the throne. Thus do I humbly offer you this wool poncho, a small token that I pray contributes to your victory. Oh, that's fine craftsmanship. A garment like that could easily fetch 5 pel in the hundreds column. That's very generous, Bolnak. Thank you. I promise I won't let you down. I have every faith in you, Third Promise. May fortune bless your future dealings. I can't believe you quintupled your investment with your first deal. We're off to a spectacular start. Only because you don't remember our weaver friend. All I did was hand over the wool. That's not true. The connections you build with people are vital. This is one of the most fundamental precepts of trading, one which you've instinctively mastered. Think so? I know so. Now, let's take our 500 pel poncho and trade it for something even more valuable. Here, doll. You take the poncho. If I lost it somehow, Aaronville would never let me hear the end of it. All set. Our next deal is waiting to be found. Nice. Success. You traded 100 pel basket of puck wool for a 500 pel wool poncho. You turn 100 pounds to 500. I know it's only 5 times more, but it feels like a 500 times more. Leveraging connections is a sound strategy, but we should also consider supply and demand. An individual in urgent need of a good poncho will offer more than a merchant supply looking to stock his shelves. That makes sense. But how do we know if someone needs a poncho? They aren't wearing one. That's the obvious answer, isn't it? We look for a person without a poncho and hope they're eager to buy ours. Yes, there you go. We find the demand for our supply. So, where should we get in our search for prospective buyers? There are any number of places, but we could do worse than starting right here at the inn. There might be interested travelers. Who here needs a poncho? A lot of Amuldra hardly wear anything to begin with. Those are probably Landsguard or sellswords. Amuldra who soldier for a living prefer to not wear much above their waists. It hampers their movements. So even if they have bared shoulders, Mamuja carrying arms can be struck off the list. Tell me, among who these gathered travelers do you think might be amenable to a proposal? So, professional fighters like those of the Landsguard would have little interest, though the same could be said of any Turali who prioritizes ease of movement in their work. Let's try that guy. Let's see, no coat or cloak, but also no weapon? Oh, we might have a winner. Oh there, friend. You know the mercenary by trade, right? I was curious about your bold choice of dress, or lack thereof. Oh, it was no choice of mine, believe me. I was attacked by beasts on the way here, and barely escaped with my scales intact. My coat was not so lucky. I'm actually a toolmaker from Tuliolo, and was dressed quite smartly, all the better to show the Pelu I am a man who takes pride in his appearance, and therefore his work as well. But now look at me. Well, sir, this is your lucky day. What a splendid poncho. This would be the perfect replacement for the coat I lost. We'd be willing to part with it, if you'd like to make a trade for one of your fine tools, perhaps. What about this hatchet? I crafted it myself and will vouch for its quality. The blade looks sharp, but half well made. I'd value it at 1 pel in the 1,000 column. Oh, from 500 to 1,000. We have a deal. Wonderful. A fine garment such as this should put me on even footing with any Pelu merchant. Like the eponymous owner of Miplu's mate garden, for one, her field's hands use hatchets to harvest a mate, and I thought to impress her with the tool I sold you. No matter. I have other wares to sell. Glad I am to have met you. Did you hear that? We already found our next buyer. To Miplu's mate garden we go. Yes, but it's a fair distance on foot. We should take alpacas. These ones will be the calm type, right? Success. You traded 500 pel with poncho for 1,000 pel hatchet. Well done recognizing that toolmaker as a potential customer. If you were mind to change professions, you'd make an excellent merchant. Mablu's dream. Before we get moving, you should be the one to hold this. With that, I suppose we should hop on the alpacas Mablu has so kindly provided. Ready to go? Let's mount up. And it's off to the mate fields we go. Please don't spit, please don't spit. You'll be fine. These ones are accustomed to people. I still don't trust them. You have a knack for riding no matter what you say. Without our alpaca friends, we Pelu would never become traveling merchants. Can you imagine walking all the way across Tural? I swear that mountain is too tall to be real. Wakor Zamor. Wasn't that the name? A forbidding sight, isn't it? One I've never appreciated up close. You have to take the long way around the cliffs to get there, to the highlands belonging to the Yakhui. So, Mablu, you said you were learning about the peddler profession. You don't care for ranch work? No, I love it. I love working with alpacas. but becoming a peddler has always been a dream of mine. It's just, I'm not sure I have the talent for it. If I can help you buy the taming saddle, though, then it'd be proof that I can do this after all. In that case, you'd best get ready to be a merchant. Look, we're almost there. We made it, and without a single smelly incident. I sent the alpacas back to XIV's Inn, so we'll walk along the main road when we return to the village. Speaking of roads to travel, you were adopted by the Dawntrail, weren't you, Third Promise? That I was. Then perhaps you understand. I was an orphan too, you see. Toby took me in. He took in all the ranch heads, actually. All of them? Yes, and everyone works hard at their chores, grateful for the opportunity to go repay the head ledger's generosity. Yet here I am, the only one wanting to go off and be a merchant. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm telling you this. We need to keep trading things for your saddle if you're too prepared for the feat of gold. As it's mate harvesting season, they can't have too many quality hatchets. Add to that Wuklamot's way with people, and we should have no trouble making a favorable deal. That's Miplu herself over there. Pass the hatchets to Third Promise, and let's get to bargaining. You have that little axe for me? Thanks. Now to see what we can get for it. You're Miplu, the owner of these fields? I have a mind to trade if you're interested. Well, well, the Third Promise. I might be convinced to entertain a proposal. What do you have an offer? This hatchet, forged by a seasoned artisan. The razor edge of this exceptional tool might make light work for your crops. The quality is acceptable, I suppose. I offer you a large sack of mate leaves in exchange. A sack of mate leaves is valued at 1 impale in the thousandths column, the same price as the hatchet. This deal would bring us no closer to the mescal. If I may, Mistress Miplu, it's harvesting season, is it not? There's not the demand for hatchets to afford them a higher value? It is indeed the season, which is why I procured an ample batch of tools well in advance. We've missed the window for demand. In that case, we'll have to fall back on connections. Think of it this way. A generous deal here will put you in Third Promise's good graces. Surely that's worthy of consideration. I do not wish to give offense, but I must tell you that I stand with the Second Promise. His innovations will improve every aspect of our lives, I believe, including farming, and I will no longer have need of hatchets. I assure you that I have nothing but respect for Wuklamot. That is why I'm prepared to purchase a spare hatchet at a fair price. I suppose it is fair given your reasons, but we ourselves would be no better off for the transaction. How about this then? If we were to help bring in your harvest, would you give us a better deal? As a matter of fact, I would. Until Kawana's reforms come about, I can always use more hands in the fields. Then you can go ahead and add our labor to the bargain. Added value to tip the scales. How could I have forgotten one of the most basic rules of trading? You can rest here if you'd like, Mabu. Adele and I have mate to gather. Oh no, I'm helping too. Off to the fields then. And mind you pick the healthy leaves. I'll take 5 good bundles from each of you. Hmm. I wasn't sure Maple would bite, but it goes to show that you never know until you try. There's one. There's two. Number 3. Here's 4. And last 5. Did you see how Woklama came to my rescue there? She really is good with people. She's pretty awesome. You brought me some leaves then. An acceptable harvest. We'll see how your companions fare before I make any decisions, though. Here, we brought our share as well. Thank you, Third Promise. This is more than enough to hold up your end of the bargain. Now, it's time to honor mine. After adding that value of your labor to the price of the hatchet, I'm prepared to offer you a full sack of our highest grade mate leaves. Premium mate, bought at the shop. One sack of those leaves would cost no less than 5 pel in the thousands column. Then we can bid farewell to this hatchet. I'll give it a good home. Talk of the contest aside, I'm glad we can come to a mutually agreeable trade. As am I. All the best with the rest of your harvest. Mablu? What's wrong? It's as I was saying before. Even after everything Toby's done for me, I'm planning to abandon it all and become a merchant. But then I needed your help after forgetting a basic rule of trade. How can I expect Toby to accept my decisions then? Have you mentioned your plans to leave? Not exactly. I wanted to prove I could succeed as a peddler before I declared my intentions. I seek to follow in my father's footsteps, but not because he expects it of me. I want to preserve Tural's peace, and becoming Dawn Serpent happens to be the best way to do it. You should live a life of your own choosing, and I wouldn't be surprised if Toby held the same opinion. So talk to him. You're right. It's better to find out for sure than worry over what he might say. Thank you for the advice. But first, we have a saddle to buy. I want that success under my belt so I can be sure of my decision. What's next then? We try to trade our tea leaves for something halfway to 10,000 pel? No, I think we're close enough now. I say we go straight for the premium escal. Bargain our way into double the value, eh? Think you can do it? Trust me, I will make this trade work. I admire you, Third Promise. That you're holding your own against such a strong competition for the throne is inspiring. Am I really holding my own against Kawana and Zoralja? I mean, of course am I. I am Woklama of the Dawn's Promise after all. My gosh. Success. You traded a 1,000 pel hatchet for a 5,000 pel sack of top grade mate leaves. I've never been one to take it slow. Once I have a goal in mind, it's full speed ahead. That's who I am. A premium deal. Before we go, let me give you the mate leaves. I don't need to risk proving Erenville's point. Ready then? Our next stop is the Mezcal Distillery. I actually understand it better now too, with how it works for her. Being the third promise and her mentality towards trying to acquire the throne, it just makes sense. I think that's awesome though. I honestly love how peaceful the music is at night. And then the fiery nature of it during the daytime, especially in battle, it's actually so nice and pleasant. Ugh, the smell of mezcal is overpowering. The fumes alone are making me dizzy. We want to speak with a man by the name of Gobli. Even among his fellow distillers, he's regarded as a master of the craft. He knows the value of his product, so if we're looking to convince him for trade for twice what the leads are worth, we're going to need targeted information. That means asking around and taking in the gossip. If you could talk to people here in the distillery, Adele, perhaps Wicklamuck could do the same with the village entrance. Meanwhile, I'll head to the north side and see what we can learn. There's not much I can say about Gobli, but I can tell you what Gobli's been saying. The other day, he was muttering about monsters prowling around agave jaws. That's the field where they gather ingredient for the mezcal. Their presence has made it harder to procure said ingredients, and thus driven up the price of his product. A boon, some might argue, but it's hard to celebrate when it affects the work as it does. You can't rightly bring joy to people if you can't keep making the thing they love. Me? I'm a chef from Tural. I often come here to buy Gobley's mezcal, the finest in Tural according to my customers. He's always brings out a jug during our dealings, but I can't handle the stuff too well myself. I take small sips, not wanting to be impolite, you understand, but still end up so addled as to agree to whatever price he quotes me. It would be nice to have less potent refreshments during such conversations, else I might have to seriously reconsider our arrangement. Goblin might be a deft hand at distilling, but he's got no sense when it comes to appearances. Rumor has it he's been invited to the palace for business negotiations. If he presents himself to the court wearing his usual rumpled attire, though, he'll be laughed at a sun perch. So, what'd you find out? Oh, we can make use of all of those tidbits. The deal is as good as sealed. As for me, I found out where Gobi is working. There's a millstone at the top of the slope behind the distillery. You go on ahead, and I'll bring Bukal on. You have business with me, madam? Why don't we talk down below so as not to distract the alpaca from his work? Now, what's this about? Keep it brief if you would. I'm a busy man. We're in the market for a 3-year-old jug of premium mezcal, assuming you have any on hand, that is. Ah, an excellent choice. I must warn you though, it doesn't come cheap. We don't have Pal, but we can offer a sack of mate leaves in exchange. It's top grade stuff, like the mezcal. No deal. Mate leaves are all well and good, but I don't have any use for them. No deal? Just like that? Still, I'd hate to send you away empty-handed. Why don't we sit and chat a while over a cup of mezcal? Now the real bargaining begins. Which of our cards do you want to play first? The monsters in the fields. Maybe that will work. Let's on to that one. We need to consider our timing. Maybe the distaste for a strong drink for the hobby chef. I appreciate your hospitality, but I'm afraid I can't hold my drink. I've heard one of your regular customers, a Hobigo chef, is the same. Seeing as not everyone can enjoy mezcal, I wonder if you might benefit from having other refreshments to offer. Something like mate tea, for instance, and brewed from the finest leaves, of course. Ah, you're right, absolutely right. I had noticed a growing reluctance on the part of my Hobigo friend, but did not realize that myself was to blame. I must endeavor to be a better host. Still, even with that added value in mind, no sack of leaves is worth the mezcal you're after. Should we offer to call the monsters causing them trouble? Not yet. We'll keep that card up our sleeve until we need it. As I expect you're aware, the rite of ascension is currently taking place. That's why the third promise has graced us with her presence. When the contest is decided, the subsequent ascension ceremony and banquet will be a prestigious affair. If your mezcal were to be served there, it would bring your distillery immeasurable fame. Wait, could it be that your rumored invitation to the palace is to discuss that very possibility? As a matter of fact, yes, I must admit. I'm still reeling from the abruptness of it all. It would be a great honor and opportunity if I can secure the deal. Well, I should think your exceptional mezcal would speak for itself. That said, there's no such thing as being too prepared, and first impressions last. You'll want to be wearing your very best when you walk into FFXIV. It would be such a shame to miss the chance of a lifetime simply for want of proper garments. That it would. Are you saying you have garments to offer? Something ideal for court? We have no garments on hand, I'm afraid, but we can provide you the next best thing, an introduction to a weaver. His name is Bolnak, and his works are highly regarded in Tural. As a supporter of Wukalamat and keen observer of palace politics, he will doubtless be happy to guide you in the selection of an outfit to fit this golden occasion. That is certainly a tempting proposal, and one of which I should like to take full advantage, but the scales still aren't quite balancing. Say, weren't there monsters running amok in Agave Jaws? That's a problem we can easily solve for you. Truly? I would be most grateful for your immediate assistance. I was resigned to hiring sellswords to clear them out. Factoring that saved expense and an introduction to the trusted weaver, this is shaping up to be a sound bargain. Alright, you have a deal. Yes, I knew you'd come around. Give us a moment and Adele and I will take care of those prowling nuisances. In the meantime, I'll use the time to pen an introductory letter to Bolnak. The fields you're looking for are just north of Wanchampalo. Be safe. Just like a rope in, you know? That should be Agave Jaws, just over there. This will go faster if you split up. Come and find me once you finish clearing out your share of the pests. Compared to the creatures I hunted with Papa, this was no challenge at all. Come on, let's head back to the distillery. All that's left is to give Mablu the sack of leaves so she can seal the deal. Business is booming. Alright. Those monsters were no trouble to you, it seems. Now, if I could just have the sack of leaves. Thank you for looking after our precious trading goods. Your monster problem has been resolved, Master Gubbly. Here are the mate leaves and a written introduction to Bull Knock, as agreed. Then the deal is done. Here, your jug of premium mezcal, aged 3 years. Please accept it with my compliments. Yes, we finally have the mezcal. Great work. Especially you, Mablu. You were the one that inspired me to come this far, Third Promise. But let's not celebrate until we have the saddle in hand. Mablu, is it? You drove a hard bargain, young peddler. I look forward to doing business with you in the future. Thank you, but truth be told, I'm just a ranch hand. For now, should I ever become a proper merchant though, I'll be back to strike more deals with you. Mezcal acquired. Wukoma in the saddle. Even at the palace, I don't think I've held a 10,000 pel jug of anything before. My hands won't stop shaking. And here, you better hold on to it until we get to the saddle maker. Can you imagine if we dropped it and had to start all over again? Luckily, Havli's place is not far. We just have to head across the plaza. Yeah, thankfully it's not like a far walk, it's just right up here. This is it, the trade we've been working towards. Phew, still in one piece. Right, time to make our deal. Get your tools ready, Saddler. We brought your precious mezcal. Wait, you actually got your hands on a jug? But you had nothing. A few measly clumps of wool. What we had was an aspiring trader with a gift for negotiation. Although, I'd sooner aid no claimant but Zeralja, I cannot go against the guiding principles of the Pelu Pelu. The trade is a fair one. I will craft your saddle, Third Promise. Great. Stay and wait if you like. I have all the requisite materials, so this won't take long. Your commission is ready. Catching a wild alpaca is never a simple affair, but you'll have an easier time of it with one of my saddles. Now, if you don't mind, I have other work that needs finishing. Ah, I can taste that smooth mezcal already. We did it! The saddle is ours! And to think we started out with only a 100-pound basket of alpaca wool. Mablu, you are going to be an incredible merchant. Thank you. It makes me so glad to hear you say that, Third Promise. We got what we came for, so let's return to the ranch. The others will be waiting. Success. We got that saddle. You've acquired the saddle, then? Yes, and thanks in no smart part to Mablu. Before you rush off to catch an alpaca, though, let me teach you how to saddle one. I'll bring out one of our wild-born friends so you can practice. I know. This is something that I need to learn. Great sunken gods, I did it! He hardly seemed bothered, much less inclined to spit, as if he was completely accepting of Wuklama's touch. That is because of the singular scent with which the saddle has been coated. Alpacas find it very soothing. You know, I never taken a good long look at one of you before, but you're actually kind of cute. You're only now noticing that? Zeralja, he's back. Having done exactly what he set out to do. That alpaca he's brought, is it just me or is it glowing? I've heard tales of such a beast. They say the golden alpaca lives a solitary existence deep in the valley, where it shuns the company of both man and its own kind. How did he manage to snare a prize like that? A beast knows its betters. Faced with overwhelming strength, it will yield rather than risk death. An apt illustration of how greatly the power of the First Promise exceeds yours, Wuklamat. Strength alone won't win him our father's throne. I'll be the one to find the Golden City, and then Tural can remain at peace. An everlasting desire for peace can only be forged in the fires of war. To unite as one, The people must be taught. They must suffer the horror and the hopelessness firsthand. Exhaustion from prolonged conflict, the wages of war and merciless nature. These are what moved the clans to join in the founding of Tuliolo all those years ago. Consider the younger generation of this village. Since birth have they basked in unbroken harmony, and be told, they regard war not as tragedy, but opportunity. Thus does the resilient son seek to provide education. He offers much needed lessons in the realities of conquest and a renewed appreciation for peacetime. 'Tis true that war's misery breeds a longing for peace. But I have seen with my own eyes what becomes of an empire forged through the violence he proposed, the rebellions it spawned, and the ruins it left behind. The Garlean Empire was a congregation of simpletons. The oppressed fought back against their oppressors, as well they should. Men are not beasts. Only a fool would seek to rule over all with the threat of force alone. This is why Gul Jaja did not elevate the Mamulja, why he treated all clans with equal respect. However, the first promise has his gaze fixed upon more distant horizons. He would unite not only Tuliolo, but the star in its entirety. What? Why? I need not explain myself to you. Oh, well done indeed. The first promise has completed the feat of gold with an appropriately golden flourish. May I present to you your much-deserved keystone. He's always been like that, never sharing his innermost thoughts with me or even Koana. It's like we're not even family. I'll ponder Zeralja and his mysteries later. Right now, I need to think about finishing the feat of gold. I have my saddle, I practiced how to use it, so lead on to where the wild alpacas roam. The valley of Orankanka is northwest of here. Come on, everyone. Even if we can't enter ourselves, we can see Miklama off on her hunt. Oh my gosh. Alright. A distraction here and there doesn't hurt anybody. do this. I know I can. Cheer on Bukala as she marshals her courage to attempt the harrowing task of capturing a alpaca.
Good luck there, Promise!
Thanks. I'll need it. Truth be told, still not sure about alpacas. I'd rather not go near one if I can help it. But if I'm to rule this nation, then I'll need to learn how to live with them. Tural is their home too. Right. I'm off.
So, shall we head back to the ranch, or...?
I'm staying here.
As will I. Wooklamart is alone in this. The least we can do is stand watch and await her return.
It may be a while yet. Help me pitch the tent.
Trust a gleaner to come prepared for anything.
What's a gleaner?
Someone whose job it is to travel the world and procure uncommon things for their employers. Erenville specializes in finding animals, I believe.
But aren't you a Shaitona from Shak Tural? Why did you cross the salt?
When I was much younger, the thought of leaving Tural never even occurred to me. But then, some years ago, my mentor tasked me with a difficult hunt. Something I could never find, she said, so long as I clung to the familiar. She suggested that I leave home, leave Tural, and join the Gleaners of Sharlian. As one of their number, I could experience the world, immerse myself in myriad cultures and customs, see the many faces of nature. And once I had learned what is truly important, I would find that which I seek. My younger self took those words to heart, and off I went to become a gleaner.
Her words alone moved you to leave behind everything you'd ever known? You must have great respect for your mentor.
As it happens, gleaner work was much to my liking, and I all but forgot why I had pursued it in the first place. Yet, events conspired to put me back on the trail I'd abandoned.
Wait, are you saying you were tasked with finding the City of Gold?
I was. And though my hunt is now entangled with the right of succession, I mean to see it through.
Well then, I understand completely. We all have our reasons for seeking the Golden City. Which is all the more reason for us to work together.
Just so.
She should have been back by now. What if something's happened to her? We need to tell Tobli and arrange a search party.
Wait. Do you hear that?
did it!
You're utterly spent, and small wonder.
Well done, third promise.
The ranch isn't going anywhere. Take a rest in the tent.
I think I will. Thank you all for believing in me.
Let's go. I'm so relieved the third promise came back to us safely. And the alpaca she tamed was a healthy looking beast. Surely this will be enough to satisfy the feet of gold. I want raptor. Mablu is mine towards the village. Wuklamat still seems a bit unsteady on her feet. Hardly surprising after she spent the night chasing alpacas. You know what would melt away fatigue like that? Magic though? Mate tea. I'll run to the ranch and get a pot brewing. That way you can take your time, and the tea will be ready when you arrive. As Mablu so wisely suggested, we shall set a slower pace for our exhausted third promise. Not this time around. Came back ahead of the others, did you? I should hurry along with the tea, then. Wuklamat can't be that far behind. Oh, that tea really is magical. I feel better already. I see you become more comfortable around our fuzzy friends. Watching this one taught me a lot about alpacas. What grasses and fruits they eat, what sounds they react to, their adorable little quirks. I guess I've grown kind of fond of them. Welcome back, Third Promise. Accomplished the feat of gold, have you? Yes. There is no mistaking a valley alpaca. I commend you on your success. Well done. Yes, we did it. Although, I couldn't find a shiny one like Zoral Ja did. I'd be surprised if you had. Golden alpacas are born but once every few decades. They are elusive, solitary creatures that are rarely seen, much less captured, thanks to their innate physical and magical gifts. Only a single other person is known to have caught one before, that being Galul Jaja himself. Papa was chasing alpacas too? So my grandfather's stories say. It was before the founding of Toliolo, in a time when the mountain giants, the Yakhoi, held our people in thrall. Compelled by their overlords, our forebears would ride their alpaca mounts to the highlands to deliver gifts of food and other tributes. Those were wretched days to hear grandfather tell it. Then along came the young Galul Jaja, yet unburdened by the mantle of Dawn Servant. Our people were amazed by this imposing two-headed figure, equal to the Yakhoi in stature, and puzzled by his entourage of mismatched companions. Some trembled in fear, believing a new conqueror had come. Yet Galul Jaja showed no inclinations. He sat and spoke with us, sipping from his cups of métis we offered him, and grew somber when he learned of our plight. None could have anticipated what their visitor decided to do next. Galul Jaja ascended the cliffs to face the giants and freed the Pelu Pelu from the Yakhoi subjugation. He then turned an appraising eye upon our riders and proposed we take to the road to peddle our beverages. The suggestion seemed obvious for one who traveled as he did, intent on fostering enmity between the clans. So it was that a few words from Galul Jaja transformed us into a clan of itinerant merchants. I've never heard the Bonpapa forge with the Pelu Pelu spoken of in that way before. The Saga is not so easily detailed. Then you may not know that Galul Jaja sought a sure-footed guide for his trek up into the highlands. Thus did he capture a golden alpaca. So both my brother and father caught the rarest of creatures, while an ordinary one was the best I could manage. That feat required no more than that, their promise, and you brought back a perfectly wonderful beast. Mabel's right. You're a perfectly wonderful beast. If anyone's ordinary, it's me. Not only did you accomplish the feat of gold, you also made many trades and brought joy to many people in true Pelu Pelu fashion. I sorely doubt your sibling could have achieved the same result. You should be proud of the accomplishment which earned you your keystone. So this is what they look like. Go on, set it in the tablet. A perfect fit. That leaves 6 more. You're well on your way, Third Promise. We'd have been lost without you, Mablu. Thanks to you, I learned so much about the Pelu people and your customs. It might seem obvious, but I've come to realize the importance of properly knowing something. It was because I didn't understand alpacas that I was uncomfortable around them. I'm thankful to you as well, Wilklamot. You've given me the courage to say what I wasn't sure I could ever say. Tobly, I want to leave the ranch and become a merchant. I appreciate everything you've done for me, and I've loved every moment caring for the alpacas. But this is something I need to do. I need to walk my own path and make my own trades. As your parent, allow me to say one thing. I've always tried to give my wards lives filled with as much happiness as I can yet provide. Yet, never once have I wanted to be the only happiness you knew. You have my blessing to walk any path you choose, Mablu. It gladdens me to hear you found a calling you wish to pursue with such passion. You will make an exceptional peddler, I'm sure of it. Thank you, Tobly. What did I tell you, Mablu? There's one last thing I can help you with, I promise. You need to find the Golden City, right? That's the end goal. Then I suggest you talk to the Yakui. They once ruled over far more than just Urkopacha and the Pelu Pelu. 1,000 years ago, they were the overlords of Tural and all its peoples. During that era, the Pelu Pelu were commanded to search for a city of gold. They scoured every corner of the continent, but never found any trace of that fabled place. But if they didn't find anything, what could the Yakui have to tell us? They may not have found it, but the fact that they thought to look for it at all makes me curious. Perhaps there's value in delving into how the legend originated. We lose nothing from asking the question. Besides, if we're determined to follow the path of the Saga, we'll be visiting the giants eventually. Oh, Cryo, I have a question I mean to ask. And since we finished with the feat, where did you acquire that earring? My earring? Do you recognize it? Yes, pieces like that first became fashionable in Tural around 20 years ago. Since then, it's become common to wear one as a charm for safe travel. 20 years ago, right about the time my grandfather made his journey. Yet the Dawn servant implied the earring was connected to the Golden City in some way. Surely there was more to its significance than simple fashion. If you want to know how it first came to be crafted, I could try to find out. Seeing as it's a regular seller for many merchants, I'm curious to learn about it myself. I would appreciate that very much, thank you. Jumping feet first into the peddler business, eh, Mablu? Right then, let's head back to Toliolol and get ready to search for the next elector. Farewell for now, and thanks for all your help. I will become Dawn Servant, so make sure you set aside your best mescal for the occasion. She has a fearsome opponent in that brother of hers. He even brought a golden alpaca to heal. But you heard Zeralja's supporters talk. They might see opportunity in his expansionist ambitions, but they find the man himself intimidating, terrifying even. Whereas I've grown to love Wuklamot. Everyone she meets will come to love her too, and that's why she'll win the throne. You might be right, Mablu. You might be right. It feels good to have the feat of gold safely under our belt, even if my victory pales beside Zeralja and his shiny golden alpaca. I know I shouldn't let it bother me. Gods know you've all been so supportive, but I want to be strong or wise like my brothers, to be a promise that people respect. Which is not likely if I stand here carrying on and on about things. Let's move on. Back to Zibolyevtev with us. The contest has hardly begun. Okay, good. I just make sure I had it. And we continue forward. Bye, friend. Such a bop. I love this song. And just like that, we found an elector and won our first keystone. I knew it was right just to trust your instincts. Come on, let's keep things moving and march onward towards Kozamauka. Chances are, good, we'll find an elector there as well, before we do anything. However, we should see what your patient hunting friend has to say. And that is the end of Chapter 1. Thank you all. I'll see you guys on our way to Kozamauka. See you around.